If you carry type O positive blood, you're holding a genetic passport stamped by ancient wanderers, a record older than any written language or fallen empire. For most of modern history, receiving a blood transfusion was a game of roulette. Without an understanding of what was happening at a microscopic level, these procedures were frequently fatal. In 1901, Austrian researcher Karl Landsteiner began staring through a microscope to solve this mystery. He noticed that mixing certain blood samples kept them smooth and liquid, while others violently clumped together like glue. This clumping behavior led Landsteiner to the discovery of the human blood groups A, B, AB, and O. While this breakthrough saved millions of lives, it immediately led Western biologists to a significant misconception about where our ancestors came from. Because type A blood was so prevalent across Europe, researchers decided it must be the original human blood type.
They viewed type O as a later mutation that appeared long after our species had established itself. Geneticists corrected this by checking the blueprint, a factory manager gene on chromosome 9 deciding if antigens build on red blood cells. Mapping this globally revealed a vast type O reservoir in Asia. The Philippines sits roughly at 45%, and Vietnam near 42%. By tracking the tiny genetic markers surrounding this gene, scientists can trace the lineage of modern type O carriers directly back to prehistoric Asian landscapes. Genetic tracking suggests that type O is the ancestral source code, a blueprint passed from a resilient group of people in Asia to nearly every population on Earth today. Thousands of years ago, the ancestors of Native Americans walked out of Asia, surviving the brutal, freezing conditions of a land bridge that connected Siberia to Alaska. This migration created a founder effect. When a small group of explorers settles a new territory, they pass their specific genetic traits to every generation that follows. Because the original group of explorers carried an overwhelming amount of type O blood, it became the dominant trait of the Americas. In some indigenous tribes, every single person in the community carries it. Around 5,000 years ago, another expansion began when seafarers from what is now Taiwan used outrigger canoes to cross the Pacific Ocean. These Polynesian voyagers settled Hawaii, New Zealand, and Easter Island, carrying that same Asian blood signature across the largest body of water on Earth. The vast oceans and freezing land bridges acted as biological filters, locking this specific genetic code into populations thousands of miles apart. The success of this blood type was driven by an invisible war. Throughout history, humanity's greatest threats were not predators or natural disasters, but microscopic killers. When malaria infects type O blood, the cells refuse to stick together. This prevents the fatal clumping that often kills those with other blood types. Norovirus operates by physically binding to the specific molecules found in type A and B blood. Because type O cells lack those molecules, the virus cannot latch onto the cells of the digestive tract. Over thousands of years, these small advantages allowed type O carriers to survive and multiply in disease-heavy environments where other lineages failed. Evolution rarely provides a benefit without a trade-off. The same smooth cellular structure that evades malaria leaves the body vulnerable to other pathogens. In the Ganges Delta, where cholera has been a historical threat, the cholera toxin binds much more easily to type O cells. This results in more severe dehydration during outbreaks compared to people with other blood types. Type O carriers also face an elevated risk of stomach ulcers from H. pylori bacteria, and are statistically twice as likely to be bitten by mosquitoes compared to those with type A blood. In 1952, a medical anomaly appeared in Mumbai. A patient who tested as type O violently rejected a standard type O transfusion because they lacked even the basic foundation molecule shared by the rest of the group. Known as the Bombay phenotype, this rare trait is a reminder that evolution is a localized process, tailoring the blood of South Asian populations to their specific environments. This ancient Asian survival blueprint affects your daily life in the modern world. Type O carriers have blood that is naturally thinner, with lower levels of certain clotting proteins. This results in a lower risk of deep vein blood clots and certain cardiovascular blockages, though it means you may bleed longer from a deep cut. Every physical quirk of your blood is an echo of an environment your ancestors had to conquer to survive. The O+ on your medical chart is a survival medal forged through tens of thousands of years of plagues, fevers, and migrations. You are the living result of their victory.
If you carry this history in your veins, let me know in the comments. What is your blood type, and where is your family from?